Look what just arrived. Let's do a proper YouTube style unboxing in my messy flat. And we got a sticker. And here she is out of the box. Fan of this pack size. This is really going to reduce the amount of space my shelter takes up in my pack, which is exciting. On the this little information tag here, it says 825 grams or 29 ounces. Let's test that. 850. Yeah, so I think it's perhaps slightly heavier than advertised, but not too much. That's good. That's the X-Mid one in its package. Cannot wait to get this out. Stop the clock. So it's my first time pitching the X-Mid one. First time ever getting it out of the bag. Seemed alright, seemed pretty simple. I'm sure that'll get quicker. Good morning. Here's an unflattering view of me after my first night in the X-Mid one. I'm not quite ready to get up yet, so you're going to have to deal with this angle. I'm going to give you some of my first impressions before I forget them. Condensation wise, it's performed quite well, not perfectly. So there's a point about halfway up the door where you can attach the inner and outer together to give you a bit more interior volume. Not a lot, to be honest, but I did pin that out on one side and that made the inner and outer touch. I didn't notice that, so that's user error. But yeah, did cause a little bit of condensation. But I did pitch the tent in such a way that there was a lot of room for air to get in underneath, because it was raining last night. There was a fine rain the night through. There's not much wind, so I knew this was going to be like condensation city. And so considering those conditions, it's done really well. Another thing I'll mention that no one seems to mention, I've watched a lot of these X-Mid videos, you can fit your pack inside with you, even in the X-Mid one. That's amazing. So unless you've got a giant pack, you can totally bring it in with you. And that was something that almost put me off buying the X-Mid at all. In fact, the room in here feels really good. I was sat up in the evening. You can sit anywhere along this ridge line and feel like you've got bags of room. So it's really good in that sense. Last thought from laying down, and then I'll spare you this angle and make the rest of the video outside once it's warmed up a bit. The pockets are at the top rather than the bottom, and I thought that would annoy me, but actually I quite like it because I can put my torch in the top here and have a nice kind of ambient light lighting the whole tent, which is great. And no matter where, if my pad slides around, stuff that's in the pockets aren't going to get you know, they're always going to be in reach, so that's great. So, well, it definitely wasn't the best pitch ever. It was a rainy pitch, first time pitching. I'm not gonna be mean to myself. The footprint is interesting. A lot of people have said it's got a large footprint, and it is kind of big. What it is it's very long. The width isn't too bad, but yeah, I've got a pyramid tent, which is square, and kind of overall is bigger. That's a two-man tent, but this feels close to that footprint, which is, you know, quite strange, partly because it's got those two big vestibules. On the vestibules, something that's quite nice about it is, because this earth is so wet and muddy, I've really churned up the ground on the entrance there, and I do have the option of I can go out the other door and avoid all that muck, so that's quite good, or keep my gear in the other side. So there's definitely advantages to the dual vestibules, although I didn't use them last night. Yeah, pretty good stuff all around. Despite the amazingly bright sun,
It's still the end of October. The ground is incredibly wet. I'd have to sit here all day waiting for the tent to dry out. So I had to put it away wet. And I thought I'd just show you. It does still pack inside its stuff sack wet, which is good. I'm going to take this home, find somewhere to dry it out, make sure it's all in good nick before putting it in storage for the next trip.